Good morning and welcome to Real Talk with Tamara. As you guys come into the room, please hit the like button. Also, if you have not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel, but definitely uh, hit the like button. Hitting the like button helps the video to circulate. It definitely helps the video to circulate, okay? And subscribe. My analytics say I have slightly more people that are unsubscribed looking at coming over to my channel constantly looking at videos than those that are subscribed. So those that are unsubscribed, subscribe because the numbers are steady as it relates to that slightly high unsubscribe. Make sure um you hit that button. And it's weird because I would think the unsubscribed people would be around 20% or something like that. It's 50 some percent. Ain't that something? So make sure you subscribe to the channel. We talk about a plethora of things over here and hit the like button. It helps to keep the video in the algorithm, okay? I wanted to talk about Blac Youngsta and Young Dolph. We know that we're coming up on the anniversary of Young Dolph's assassination, okay? We know that. And there are a lot of emotions, especially from the people that truly love Young Dolph, that was around him on a day-to-day basis. They're going to have an even harder time than even his diehard fans, because these are the people who had a very intimate relationship with him, such as his mate Mia J, his especially his children. He adored those children, and they adored him, and he's been gone almost 365 days away. They assassinated this father who was very active in his children's life and took him away from his children, ripped his kids heart out. Parents, I don't care what nobody say, you carry a child for 9 months, okay, you love those children. Dolph's mother carried him for 9 months, and even though his grandmama raised him, okay, can't nobody tell me that his mama and daddy did not love him. He had siblings. Okay, his brother Marcus is going to have to relive what he saw because his life was attempted. All of these emotions are getting ready to come up again, and then they'll have to come up again when this trial starts and when these other indictments come down. So each and every time, and even with the fans, but these are the people and his artists that are directly affected, that he was helping, that truly, truly loved him, knew him on a personal level. We knew him on a musical level. They knew him on a personal level. Okay. His siblings, his parents, okay, his spouse, his children, his artists, okay, his friends, okay. So all of this is getting ready to come up again because November 17th is fastly approaching. Okay. And although there have been two people that have been indicted, we know that there's more to come, right? And, people are still trying to wrap their mind around what really happened, what really happened, because the police has not released a whole lot of information, and with good reason. I'm sure that there are a lot of witnesses in this case. Okay. I think the reason that the police is where they are now is because of the witnesses trusting them. Because when you ain't no telling what kind of players is in this case, we only imagine. Okay. So the witnesses are entrusting their lives to the police to do what's right. And so they have to guard that. Okay. So when people start talking about why can't we see this, why can't we see that, you could tell those are people that don't know anything about investigations. And when has the police ever presented their case to the public, a curious public, before they did in the courts? When has that ever happened? Never. Okay. But anyways, I wanted to talk about, did Blac Youngsta think that young Dolph was involved in getting him shot at? Okay. Last night I did a show on Blac Youngsta and Finesse Two Times, okay? And someone in my chat reminded me of that Blac Youngsta was shot at, okay? At the end of October of 2021. And let me just say this: Blac Youngsta has not been charged with Young Dolph's murder or anything like that. And he ain't been charged with Young Dolph's murder. So, anyways, I digress. Anyways. So, anyways, they said that somebody reminded me of something that the insurance agent had said. The insurance agent had said on the Thaddeus Matthews show that Blac Youngsta, either his car had gotten shot up or he had gotten shot at. Okay. A few weeks before young Dolph was assassinated. Okay. And I'm sure a lot of people heard that interview, and Thaddeus Matthews stopped talking about the young Dolph's case. I can remember when seeing Thaddeus on the internet, and I don't know really what was going on at that time, but I know that um, I know he stopped talking about it. I'll just say that because according to just from what I could pick up on, maybe there was threats on his life. I don't know. I don't know who would want to put threats on his life. They have indicted Straight Drop and Cornelius, so it makes you wonder who else is out there that would have something to say about somebody talking about the Young Dolph's case, unless it was somebody that was involved. You know what I mean? That has not been gotten yet. But I digress. And so remember the insurance agent Eric Winston, which from my understanding of looking at that video, also was cool with Blac Youngsta outside of being his insurance agent. And Thaddeus Matthews was getting information, and according to um, Thaddeus, Eric Winston started to get scared. That was the insurance agent, because according to him, allegedly, youngsters started calling him and things of that nature, trying to figure out how Thaddeus was getting his information. And he was kind of on to maybe he was doing it. Why Eric Winston was also Thaddeus Matthews' insurance agent. People have gone back and forth about why he said what he said. He was on recorder. Why he said it. Some people have said that he wanted, he was hoping that Thaddeus would go tell the right people. And some people were saying that he might have been covering for somebody else. We don't know, but we know he has disappeared, right? And so in that video, he also spoke about how supposedly, okay, youngster's car had gotten shot up, okay? And hey, and we don't know, okay? But if this did happen, or he was shot at, if this did happen, and we know the history between young Dolph and Blac Youngsta, me personally, I never understood it, because from looking at young Dolph's videos, young Dolph has always said from the very start, I don't know anything about Blac Youngsta. I ain't had no issues with Blac Youngsta. I don't know him. This is between me and Gotti. And so it seems to me and a lot of other people that maybe Blac Youngsta took it up on himself to insert himself. Young Dolph had seemed to believe at some point that maybe it was to sell albums or to sell music and things of that nature, that was using his name. But then at some point it turned serious. Okay, it turned too serious, because it's one thing when you're going back and forth on wax. It's another thing when you start actively trying to take somebody's life. You've gone too far. Okay, people can rock with that when you're making money, but if your feelings is too easy to be hurt, you ain't got no business in the music industry, right? If you think you start putting yourself in the position of God, then we need to cancel you, because motherfucker, you ain't God. Okay. And I'm just talking about anybody. When you start thinking you could take somebody's life, nigga, you need to be canceled. And that's where I get mad at us at, because we have the power to do that. And if we come together, we could stop a lot of this shit that's going on in the rap culture by not supporting it. Okay. Anyways, I digress. Let me get back to my point, because I started getting upset. Okay. So Blac Youngsta, um allegedly his car was shot up. According to the insurance agent, of course, a young man got into my chat last night and confirmed it. He said that it did happen, at the end of October. And then come November 17th, young Dolph was assassinated. Now, a lot of people who knew about that felt like, maybe Blac Youngsta um, thought that young Dolph had something to do with his car being shot up, his bulletproof car being shot up, and maybe that's why that happened. Okay. So I guess it left a lot of people to wonder, did Blac Youngsta think that young Dolph was involved in that? And the reason, people are saying Blac Youngsta, because there has been a lot of rumors. Okay. The police have not, I wait for the police, but in the meantime, there has been a lot of rumors that maybe he knows something about young Dolph's assassination. Okay. And so people were saying, either, maybe he knew something about it and it was retaliation, or maybe some of the people around him, because we know Straight Drop was hanging around Youngster and them. Um, Maybe they felt a certain way and thought he did, and they took it up on themselves to go do that. I don't know. That's just, I don't know. But I'm reminded of a video. Because if you think about the history now, you think about 2017. Okay, 2017, February of 2017, young Dolph's van was shot up. Okay, his van was shot up. It was bulletproof. He was in North Carolina, and nothing happened. I don't even think Young Dolph pressed charges. Okay, about that. And there have been rumors that supposedly, allegedly, they was calling Young Dolph and begging him not to go and file charges. That was a mistake if that happened. Because when a person does the way that van was shot up, uh, they was trying to kill anything moving, to include children and all. We know how young Dolph love his kids. You shoot a van up like that, it look, if it wasn't 100 shots, it looked like it. You trying to kill babies and all. Okay, so nobody should have, you know, um, been given a pass on that. So then if I'm not mistaken, there was some stuff that went on. There was some people, to include Blac Youngsta, was going back to court, back and forth to court for that or something. um and then it kind of dissipated, and then in September of 2017, young Dolph was shot now, in LA. Okay, so there was a consistent pattern, and it seems like the same people was affiliated with this, you know, the same group of people. Um, so there was a consistent pattern of trying to take his life out. So when people say, or maybe, you know, um, people thought that he was trying to, he was behind Blac Youngsta's car getting shot up. I don't know about that, because you think about 2021, 2017, all the way to 2021. Young Dolph freely walked into a cookie shop. He did not have any security or anything like that. Young Dolph knew how to move, okay? I don't think, just with how freely Young Dolph was walking around, I don't believe that Young Dolph thought he had any beef. If he had anything to do with shooting up Blac Youngsta's car, if that happened, or whatever it was that was shot up, I think he would have had security around him 24/7. I think they know that if Dolph had more money than all of them, and that seemed like to me that was the issue. Okay, if he had really wanted to retaliate, he had enough money to do that. He could have hired some trained assassins to go snipe him out, but he didn't. And I do believe it was because young Dolph knew that he had young men in the hood that was still in the hood. And if you go and you do something like that, then what happens is you make the little dudes around you vulnerable. And it seemed like to me that it's a certain label that was just bloodthirsty because of their motherfucking envy and jealousy. Okay. So now, you know, now, people are saying, you know, um, all of this is coming back up. I'll say that all of this is coming back up again. And people are going to start going back and listening to stuff because it's always good to go back to the beginning. That's why I tell people don't get lost in the sauce. A lot of stuff is put into the atmosphere, but normally all of the nuggets come out in the very beginning. All you got to do is listen to the U.S. Marshals and the Memphis Police Director when she was giving her press conferences, and listen to the DA and all of them. You will gain a lot of understanding. But some people want to hear, they get caught up in all of this outlandish stuff, okay, and they want to hear, I don't know. They just they get caught up in, they want to believe that a dog and a cat worked with the FBI, and it was a cat that had a robotic, something in him, and he went in there in the cookie shop and killed young dog. People will believe that before they believe anything logical. I can't give y'all that, okay? Because number one, I just can't do it. It's pretty sickening to me, all of this outlandish stuff, okay? When the truth is oftentimes just boring, and it's always just put in front of you. Now, I'm reminded of a video that I had looked at a while back with Blac Youngsta. Did an interview, and this interview was like back in 16 or something like that, or 17. And he talked about he had a lot of enemies. He said that he had killed so many people that, if it happens to him, then it was probably just karma. And I don't know if I'm saying it verbatim, but I'm somewhere around the area of what he said. Okay. Okay. So, you know, if this is the reason that young Dolph was assassinated, I think that's messed up because he said himself he had a lot of enemies. Blac Youngsta has not made any qualms about or tried to hide that he has some type of gang affiliation. Okay. So, you know, if this is the reason, and I'm saying if because that this is what was in the atmosphere, that maybe Blac Youngsta thought that it was young Dolph, you know, that had shot at him. I don't know if I believe that. I don't believe Blac Youngsta thought that. I believe that young Dolph was taken out, and it was a continuous effort to take him out, and they didn't need any reason to take him out other than for him to just be great. Because anytime you start trying to take somebody out about words that's on the record, or if you get into it with some of young Dolph's artists, you beefing or whatever, oh, it's time to take he the breadwinner, we gonna take him out. I think it had nothing more than to do with anything other than that, whoever it was that was involved. I can't say Blac Youngsta was involved because the police has not said it at this point. He ain't been indicted. Okay. But whoever it was, okay. So I believe that they was going to, according to the insurance agent, young Dolph tried to call a truce between him and Blac Youngsta. Now this is according to the insurance agent, and Youngsta didn't want a truce. So I I think as stuff starts to come out, we'll gain an understanding. But it's a lot of stuff that's still in the atmosphere, and a lot of people are confused. And the only thing we can do is kind of give our opinion, okay? Until the authorities truly confirm it to the public, everything. Because as I said, I don't know everything about the case. I've never proclaimed to know everything. I don't think it's safe to know everything. But a lot of people, you hear people saying that, youngster had gotten shot at, okay, and maybe him or or people around him felt like young Dolph had something to do with that. First of all, I don't think that young Dolph had too much money to physically be going and shooting at Blac Youngsta. And then I don't think that young Dolph felt like he had no beef. Young Dolph was really just about making money. If he felt like he had beef, he never would have just walked into that cookie shop without 100 people around him. And no, I don't blame his artist or anything like that, because Young Dolph has put into the atmosphere that he liked being alone. Okay. Okay. And then somebody else had put into the atmosphere when people were saying, well, why didn't he have security and things of that nature? Somebody had put into the atmosphere in my chat a while ago that he had security at one point, but most of these security companies kind of deal with all of the celebrities, and there was a plant who was given his location. And so he started getting they started dropping his location. When he was in the studio, there was a plant, either a producer, there was producers that, he quit messing with, because when he would start, dropping music, they would start sending text messages or sending recordings and letting his ops hear it. So they say he basically had just started cleaning house as far as that was concerned. Okay. That's one of the reasons I'm hearing that he did not have security, because allegedly, because, and it's true, a lot of these security, these celebrities, because there are only certain companies that's trained, that, they have bodyguards within their security. And a lot of times they'll use the same companies. Okay. And they say he had used several different companies and it was still happening. So it makes me believe that whoever the plant was, once somebody found out who he was using, they was paying off somebody to give his location. Okay. So of course that would make you feel vulnerable, and you go, shit, well, damn, I'll just chance it. Cause hell, like with all these niggas, dropping dimes on me like that, I'm paying. Security is not cheap, and they said I ain't gonna pay them for them to get me killed. I'll chance it. He had his brother with him. It was unfortunate. I just don't think that Young Dog felt like he was in any beef. He would not have been walking around there freely. I'm sure if he had wanted his artists around him, if he thought that was going on, he would have kept them around him. So I don't blame them at all. It's not their fault that these dudes, it was a bunch of jealous dudes, hating dudes that just was determined that they was going to take him out. Okay. But did Blac Youngsta think that Young Dolph was involved in him getting shot at? I don't believe Blac Youngsta, even though he acts crazy, I don't believe he is that crazy. Especially when he set up and said himself that a long time ago, that he had a lot of enemies. Hell, that could have been anybody. Okay, it could have been anybody if that happened. But anyways, you guys, this is gonna get interesting. I just wanted to talk about that. I did, because, like I said, somebody reminded me of that last night, and that was in the atmosphere. And the insurance agent did say that in the very beginning. That's why I said go back to the beginning. And at the beginning, when you go back to the beginning, before people start putting all this bullshit in the mix, that is where you get your truthful nuggets. Okay. All right. All right, you guys, please like, share, and subscribe. And let me just say this. I ain't saying that Blac Youngsta, it ain't my job to say whether Blac Youngsta was involved in something or not. I don't know. I wait for the police to say it. Okay. I'm not investigating Young Dolph's case. Okay. So at no point have I been accusatory. I just simply raised a question. Okay. But anyways, please like, share, and subscribe. Okay. I'll talk with you later.